Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now I want to a presentation about my paper. Title is Students Knowledge Diplomacy after an exchange program in South Korea. And in here, I want to explain my this abstract. Each country's national interest must be achieved with a strategy that has been regulated by its government. One way to achieve the national interest is through diplomacy. There are two types of categories included in diplomacy that will be discussed here, namely soft power and hard power. This article we will discuss how a country's goal is to achieve its national interest by using soft power, namely study abroad, to the student perception. So, in introduction, every country in the world use soft power as a diplomatic tool. Several ways have been taken to achieve the national interest of a country as the goal of diplomacy. Between South Korea and Indonesia that utilize student exchange knowledge with scholarship. Student exchange basically provide an opportunity for students to study for several semesters in South Korea. So, many have mistakenly students' experience in pursuing study abroad programs. Much has been done previously involving international students as part of education that contributes to the concept of learning by understanding and living together to create a range of the wider world's international and cooperative education to include intercultural skills and also to understand and age with people from different backgrounds. So in literature review, there is knowledge diplomacy as a form of soft power. This is hard power, and soft power have some difference that have been defined by scholars. There are actors who cover the potential in the use of the soft power search, where this difference is believed to only rely on two categories as a form of typology of the two forces. However, it can conceptualize soft power and hard power from different sources and according definition of relationship between the two forces, and can also be used to dissect typologies and generative strengths from the benefit of hard and soft form of strength. This concept, knowledge diplomacy, has been put forward by many scholars, on of which is Knight, who says the international education can be used as an alternative to cultural diplomacy, and so is soft power in understanding the relationship between higher education and international relations. The role of education is used by making exchange to build strength and organizing for each educational institution. It also has a role in international relations through higher education on research to strengthen relations between these countries. And two, this is knowledge diplomacy gained from study abroad activities. Many people believe that with exchange students can make students with the ability to develop skill in globalist world. The learning experience can also provide new opportunities and challenge students who study abroad will gain a lot of experience. The literature that result from personal experience following study abroad says that international study experience provide many potential to learn from other cultures as well as their own cultures to live and work in their own culturally diverse forms. So, after conducting several studies, Pretzel, Garcia, and De Lorenzo found that studying abroad provides many benefits and impacts, such as understanding foreign cultures and foreign institutions and being able to develop mind and understand from talents. There are also empirical studies that explain the impact of studying abroad on the social role that students get will be more skilled and knowledge in a globalist world. So in three purpose studies relate to knowledge in diplomacy or study abroad activities. ASADA has conducted a study on the impact of studying abroad as from a transfer of cultural diplomacy to someone who carries out these activities, combining quality and quantitative method. The authors distribute only survey to participants and conducted in-depth interview with 5 to 25 participants. The findings illustrate two important aspects, namely one, the professional development of participants after attending a study abroad program, and two, change in global awareness and connectivity after returning to their country. There is previous study related to knowledge diplomacy or study abroad activities. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There is research design. There's research designs. There is qualitative case studies were used to explain the details of participant knowledge gained from study abroad and knowledge of diplomacy as a form of soft power. And there is participant. Three student participant in the study. In order to involve in this research, they must meet two criteria. One, enroll in a major in international relations, and so two, have a participant in a student exchange program in South Korea. All participants in this study were aged between 19 until 21 years who studied at Universitas in Yogyakarta. And there's instrument in the study. A semi-structured interview format was used. The interview specially questioned the participant in perspective on knowledge diplomacy and soft power, and their view on its part of soft power to acquire knowledge after studying abroad. The interview protocol consisted of 8 main questions. So procedure. There is a procedure to research the participant. The researcher contacted some prospective participants at the international relation of which enrolling in one university in Yogyakarta. Participants were contacted by the researcher and were informed about the proposed scope and the record time commitment. After that, Structured interview was conducted in Bahasa Indonesia, language Indonesia, with the participant. The interview lasts for approximately 25 until 30. 1 week after the interview, the participant were given an interview transcript, and they were given the option to remove edit part of the transcript. And there's data analysis. The process of data analysis uses what the thematic identification. And so interview question, there is an interview question. One, do you think that study abroad is part of diplomacy, and the others? So in findings, there is impact gained after study abroad, the knowledge in South Korea. So there is impact gained after study abroad, understanding to Korean culture, and there's impact gained after study abroad, giving connection with Korea, and there's impact gained after study abroad, understanding inward. So I want to explain why impact gained after study abroad, the knowledge learned in South Korea. There's many things I learned while studying in South Korea, and they say that knowledge learned is more about listening than academic. So in two, there's our perception about culture, not only from university, that also get knowledge about culture from their friends and informant. They need to adapt to their culture. So in three is the experience gained while studying abroad in South Korea can create a deep connection between participant and South Korea, which will continue to develop touch their life. And the four is, if you remember the experience of perspection in student action program, there is a lot of understanding about how the life will work and how deal with it in terms of understanding such a situation. And in discussion, these findings are empirical findings. There's trouble in my connection. Okay. In discussion, these findings are empirical findings of knowledge diplomacy after the exchange program in South Korea, which this study found that students prefer knowledge diplomacy as a tool to achieve the national interests of each country. And conclusion, in the study, the participant perception found that every country has their own government policy. There are so many alternative ways to reach the national interest. Study abroad is one of the most important way to reach the national. Okay, thanks. It's my presentation. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.